You know, over the last number of years, there's been a really dramatic surge of artificials for walleyes. I'm talking jigging wraps, hair jigs, soft plastics, swim baits. Realistically, you know, they're really highly, efficient means to catch walleyes. You know, walleye fishing has actually long been a live bait show. Night crawlers, leeches, minnows, throughout the course of the year. Right now, Jake Wallace and we're going to look at a little bit of a different take on walleye fishing, and it's really utilizing all the electronics we have today. It's a lot of people, the hot walleye guys call it sharpshooting, and they're using their electronics. You identify where the fish are, and you use drop shot rigs. It's really extraordinarily interesting. I mean, it's really highly efficient. We've been driving along the edge of this hump. I put a bunch of coordinates down, and we're gonna fish back over those coordinates, and there's these little pods of fish, and we're gonna go pitch on them. It's an amazing deal how efficient it is to catch walleyes.
Beautiful fish.
Closed captioning is provided by Smooth Moves, adjustable boat seat suspensions for a smoother ride.
We actually, when we drove along the edge here of this tip of this point, anywhere between like 26 to 28 foot of water, I dropped coordinates, and they're sitting on specific packs of fish. Some of the schools of fish were maybe, I don't know, maybe 6 to 8 fish. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going tracking straight back down our track line where we put those coordinates down, and we're going to drive right to them. And one thing that's nice with this forward-facing sonar, like this Humminbird Mega Live, I'm actually panning like this, and I'm looking at about a 3-foot window of anything that's in the water column. So we're just tracking along, and when we move up to them, we can accurately just position this drop shot rig directly on top of them. The interesting thing is how spooky these fish are. It's sort of amazing. We're sitting in 30 foot of water. You wouldn't think the fish would be that spooky, but in a lot of cases, as we've been using this, it really has given us a lot of understanding of how many fish are around you, and they're actually moving away from the boat a lot of cases. Oh, there they are, right there. There's some right there. You can see that those are fish right there. I got to sort of position here, right there. Right there, that's a pack of different fish, and what I can do, actually 30 feet and 40 feet directly off the bow of the boat, the walleyes are sitting right there, and what I'm going to do is just take this rig and pitch it out to them, drop it to the bottom. In a lot of cases with the drop shot rig, you just want to sort of not really fish it very fast, just let it sit in place and just, there's one. Oh, that's a little bit better one. This one here, come here, buddy. Ooh,
There he is. Feels like a better one, Jim.
you got a good one?
Nettable model, I think. There was 2 bigger marks on the Mega Live, and they were kind of by themselves. So I just pitched to them, and I just kind of was bouncing that drop shot, that leech right in front of them, and this guy came and picked it up. Definitely like significantly marked bigger.
Oh, is that right? I know, you can tell the
yeah.
difference. That's one thing cool about that. Once you get used to using with that Mega Live, you can actually identify bigger fish versus smaller fish. You can actually even change different species, you know what I mean? You can tell the difference between walleyes and smallmouths. They look different, That's a better one there, Jake.
Oh yeah.
That's a good one. Come here, buddy. There you go.
Sir.
There you go.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate the scoop.
This segment is brought to you by Sunset Country, Ontario, Canada. You gotta come visit.
That one there, is that one of the models that you can keep?
I think this one's gonna probably be in the slot. We'll get a tape on them.
Okay. We'll take it.
Calm down, calm down. Oh, he's short.
Too small?
Too short. It's all right though. Nice fish. Let him go, let him grow. There he goes. The rod I've been using today for drop shotting is the St. Croix Avid Walleye series. It's a 7-1 medium power, moderate fast action. Now there's a few reasons I love this rod for really live bait rigging in general, because it's super versatile, right? You can drop shot with it, you can slip bobber with it, you can drag a jig with it, you can do a lot with it. It's, you know, it's a nice length, so you can, you know, feel the action, feel what's going on down there. Now it's got a sensitive tip, so you're able to feel those light bites, you know, you're able to feel what kind of bottom you're fishing, and it really loads into some nice backbone. It's just a great rod for any type of live bait rigging, you know, whether it is jig fishing, whether it's Lindy rigging, or today like we're drop shotting. The reel I like using for drop shotting for walleyes is this Daiwa Procyon in a 2500 size. Now it's the perfect size, you know, it's not too big, not too small, it's got enough line capacity. The drag is super smooth. You know, you can handle big fish. If you do run into some, you know, pike or any other big species like that, you're gonna have no problem. And I've got it spooled up with some Suffix 832 10-pound braid. Down here on the business end, I've got an FG knot connecting the braid to about a 6-pound fluorocarbon leader, and this leader is about 8 feet long. And one key to this whole setup is setting your hook a little further than you think you would. So I've got my weight down here, I've set it about 3 feet off the bottom. And why that's important is when you make a long cast out there, you want to keep your rod tip up like Jim mentioned, but having your hook up higher will help get your leech up higher in that strike zone for the walleyes.
Boy, but you see how effective this is. I mean, for really processing fish, because you're so on them. It's a little bit better one, Jake. We're gonna need the net,
oh yeah,
net on
that's
this one
absolutely.
Here. I got that pretty light fluoro. We're running like 6-pound fluoro on our the drop shot rig, you know, with the FG knot. About a 5-6 foot piece of fluoro, and then the drop shot rig with the, you know, a 3-foot dropper or so. Come here, buddy.
And we got a double.
There we go. And you can see how once you pin in on the fish, boy, when you get them, come here, buddy, back into the drink.
Yeah, this presentation is more like stalking. I mean, you're creeping up to these fish, you see them with the Mega Live, you position yourself, you know, a cast length away, and then you're just accurately pitching to them, right? Pitching, making small pitches right at these fish, creeping up to them. If you were to come over with 2D or, you know, come in real fast and hot, you'd spook these fish off this spot. So the real key is to creep up. I'm actually gonna grab the scoop from you here, Jim. Nice fish. Now this one, Jim, I'm confident is in the slot. There we go, that's a better one.
Ooh.
But yeah, you know.
That could be a keeper.
Creeping up.
I know, my wife has been, yeah. Yeah, that one there is definitely in the slot there. That's definitely.
Oh my goodness, he's short.
It's got to be between what, 21?
21 and 23.
Yeah, we're very close, but.
Oh, I'm gonna need the Bubba for him. Switch to the old hook extractor because this thing is way down there.
Ooh.
You hooked up?
Yes, sir.
Nice.
Boy, the conditions are getting right now. When it gets flat calm, this is where this technique is just incredibly effective on these guys. I think I got a duplicate of what you just had there, big boy, but I don't know if we should be going deeper for the bigger ones. Wow, whoop.
We are loaded for bear. We got
pikes. There's so many different ways to fish for walleye. Dependability and efficiency.
Simple, fast, and easy.
The best rods on the planet. They like to eat when you're throwing the right thing.
You don't have all bluebird flat calm days.
Just a perfect eating size fish.
See, that's what I'm talking about, these Daiwa drags.
We got walleye stuff, we got crappie stuff, we got pike stuff.
Wow.
Well, I got the net ready for you, so.
Yeah, this is really pretty dramatically different than classic live bait rigging, where you're moving around the structure, dragging them around, usually at a fixed, you know, at a given depth level. As we're moving around over on the bar, what we're doing is actually, as Jake was saying, you're just IDing individual fish and catching, spotting, and dropping right on those individual fish. But I mean, look at that, just cookie cutter, beautiful walleyes. Look at that, buddy. Oh, look at that guy. There we go. Pop him off.
There you go. He's free.
Go. Beautiful fish. Get her back in the drink.
Now this is the layout I like in the back for fishing. Now we got these helixes on a 1-boat network, So I'll have 2D, and then I'll have my mapping. And then when we actually get to the spot and James drops down the trolling motor, I'll switch it over to the Mega Live so I can see what he's seeing. So if he's turning it to the right, we're scanning fish, I know I can pitch it to the right. If he turns it to the left, okay, pitch it to the left. So it's nice to have this layout so you can see. And one thing I will mention too is when we first pull into a spot, it's almost always we'll have it on side scan, right? We're side imaging, we're looking around, seeing where the fish are. We'll go down, drop a few waypoints. But then that key is to switch it over to when you drop down to the Mega Live, so you can see what's happening here in the back of the boat too. Now, the drop shot rig is probably the most effective and efficient way to present live bait in a vertical manner, as opposed to a slip bobber or even a jig. When you're seeing these fish, you know, we're fishing anywhere from 25 to maybe 30 feet of water. If you were to use a slip bobber or a jig, it might take 10, 15 seconds for that bait to get down. As opposed to this drop shot, it gets down there, it just bombs down right down to the bottom. You can pitch it down there, accurately cast to these fish. It's just a much more efficient manner to target these fish. Oh, and it looks like Jim's got another.
You know, when we started fishing this drop shot rig, we initially started fishing it quite a bit for walleyes up in Canada because you're vertical fishing, and it's really nice when you're vertical fishing like this. You're not dragging it on the bottom the way you classically drag a live bait rig or Lindy rig, in that you get hung up on the bottom. With this vertical fishing with those like the small VMC pair weight, it's far and away less, you don't get snagged as much with it, you know. It's pretty amazing how, you know, for Canadian fishing, you know, or heavy rock fishing scenarios, it's just amazing. Come here, buddy, same thing, cookie cutter. My problem is he's still slightly too small, but you're gonna have to check him. Oh gosh, what do you think about him?
I think this is the one.
My wife isn't gonna believe me. Yeah, we caught 25, but we couldn't keep any. we caught too many of them. Okay, come here, buddy. Boy, buddy, I mean, look at the schools of these guys. Come here, buddy. Look at that. There's that red line hook, I even not on for bass fishing, for walleye fishing, those are really unbelievable hooks. It's got like almost a little bit more of a forged thing. Come here, buddy. I don't think he makes a grade, does he? Does he?
It'll be close.
Okay. Let's see. We'll put him on the bump board.
Oh, yep.
Whoop. Wow. Guess what? We got one. Turn the live well on, Bubba. This guy, my wife is now happy. You know, a lot of guys have been using float fishing for with the same technique, with using it for forward-facing sonar. The nice thing about that, the drop shot versus the float, you have to always adjust the float for the given depth. We're actually happen to be fishing on a ledge drop, so it dumps off pretty quickly, and some of it casts are in 26, some of them are in 28, some are in 23. So what you'd have to do is keep on adjusting the float to have the bait floating at the right level. With the drop shot rig, it doesn't make any difference. It's always at the right level when you drop it down to the bottom. It pins it at, you know, 3 feet off the bottom, which I actually have it set right now at. So that's the efficiency of it.
Now with forward-facing sonar, we've really been able to see how fast fish move. You know, they can be in 23 feet 1 second, the next second they're down in 28. So it's nice, you're always gonna be able to get this bait down in their zone, whether you're fishing in 23 or down to 28, right? You can get it to the bottom, get it in the zone of the fish, and it is just an effective way to catch them. Another nice one. There it is. There you go, sir.
Cookie cutters, boy, there are lots of them. Boy, this is like an amazing deal, isn't it? Then the biggest thing is about this, we're not fishing the bait, moving it on the bottom that much. We're just letting it sit in place and pulling it along just inches. You're just keeping the bait just sitting there going like this at a fixed position right in their face, and that's what the efficiency of this technique is. You know, we happen to be using leeches in this particular situation, but realistically, you can use a variety of different baits to present them on a drop shot rig. You can actually tail hook a chub. Bait that I actually use a lot of is actually a small night crawler. Can be really, you know, cut in half. A night crawler can work very good.
All right, looks juicy. You know, Jim just covered the live bait options for drop shotting, but when you can't use live bait, say you go up to Canada where you can't bring it, plastics can be so effective with this drop shot method. And Big Bite Baits has these new sensation plastics that are infused with scent and have just great action that are really trigger walleyes into biting.
You know, this drop shot rig is a really efficient, and you know, it's used by a lot by the professional bass anglers, believe it or not. But the thing is, I use it a lot for novice anglers, and the reason being, it's very simple. You throw it out and it positions the bait. All you have to do is keep your line relatively tight on it, and it keeps the bait at the exact depth level. And you don't have to set the hook hard to land the fish or to hook the fish, you know what I mean? With that real fine wire red line hook, I mean, you lift up, you start to reel, and you got them, you know what I mean? So it's a really, you know, it's just a fabulous system for catching fish, whether you're fishing with live bait or plastics, you know. It's a pretty amazing rig.
This boat is rigged up about as nice.
Easy to use, and it flat out works.
It's a must-have when you're talking about big waves. Well, these trout are so darn tough.
Incredible 11-year warranty.
So that was on a number 8 Shad Rap.
Your style of boat control is really key.
One that was there from the very beginning.
You want to be able to see in the water. The adventure begins.
Oh, this is a big one here. You could actually sell, you know, it's sort of interesting because those other schools of fish that when you pan around on Mega Live, you can see that these are considerably larger fish, and sure enough, you know, this is a real boy here. Oh boy, look at the Jake 50 feet in front of us. There's some real whoppers. What? Wow, come here. Come on, buddy. Wow. Whoa. Wow. There you go. Wow, look at that guy there. That's a good one. Boy, you look at the conditions that we have right now, she really flattened off, and you'd think this would be really pretty adverse conditions for walleye fishing, but the way we're doing it, you know what I mean, where you have to sort of coax them into biting, but you're still catching them. That's a good one there. That's a nice one. Oh, come on, buddy. Look at that guy there. Come on. We'll get her back in the drink pretty quickly. She came out of about 26 foot of water. Come on, buddy. Come on. Whoa. Whoa.
You look here, we've got our traditional 2D sonar. We're not marking anything, but you go over to the Mega Live, and it's just amazing how many fish were actually sitting around that you just don't read on the 2D because the fish are moving away from the boat. I mean, that's got to be a school of 10. There's another 5. I mean, right now at least 20, 25 somewhere, and that's just pointing in one direction. If Jim turns it left or right, I mean, there's more. It's unbelievable.
This is another one of those bigger, better ones, boy. Ooh. Wow. It's just, you know, it's crazy. Not a biggie. It's a nice one, though. Toughy. Come on, buddy. Come on. There you go.
Nice one.
Oh, gosh. Look at that. Another wallaroo.
Now, you've heard us talk about how these fish are getting spooked. You know, we're in 30 feet right now, and the reality is 30 feet isn't that far. We're in a 20-foot lund, and I can almost hit Jim with my rod. So, you know, you gotta think these fish are a couple feet off the bottom. They can sense you. They know when you're around. So you really just want to creep in, stay off them, and make pitches towards them. You know, stay, you know, 40, 50, 60 feet away if you can. Got one, Jim.
Size.
Feels good. Feels like a netter. Feels like a netter. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, I would say we'll need the net for this guy.
Okay. A lot of cheap talk.
Yeah, well, you're right. We'll see. There's been a lot of maybe netters, but I'm confident. I'm confident this guy's the one.
Is that?
Yep.
You got an Elmer Gantry on there.
Yeah, I think so. Oh yeah, nice
there you
fish.
go. Nice one. Yeah, there you go. Boy, look how beautiful they are. Wow. Come on. Come on.
They got so much fight. Oh,
yeah.
Look at them down there.
Come here, buddy. Oh, there you go.
Ooh,
nice
thank you,
fish,
sir.
Bubba. Boy, we've had a stellar
sir.
day today, man. We've been really putting the hammer on the Waldos here.
Yeah, we have. What a beautiful fish to end the day. Now there's no question live bait rigs are super effective for walleyes, whether you're slowing down with drop shots or speeding up with spinners. If you're using live bait, you're gonna catch a bunch of nice walleyes.
You know, the older I get, the more sensitive I am to the Word of God, the world, the things around me. There's an old saying, wisdom comes with age. Well, I got it. I'm old. I acknowledge it. And at this point in my life, I find myself in my prayer time being much more thankful how I focus my prayers. You know, so much of my prayer time, like many of us, it's petitioning the Lord for help. Yeah, you know, Lord, I need this, I want this, can you bless this? You know, these are typical prayers. We're always asking for me, for my kids, go on. And that's important, there's nothing wrong with that. But I also finding myself at points, I take a day or a part of a day or my prayer time, I just put it aside and I start looking around me and think about the people that are blessings in my life, the people that I work with, the people that I go to church with, what I do for a living. The list goes on, and I find myself simply praising God and saying, thank you, Lord. And at the top of the list of the thank you is the gift of life. I start out with that, the gift of life. It's such a blessing. It's like an adventure. The gift of life, and then I start going to all of the other things, like I said, people, places, circumstances in life. And the older I get, the more sensitive I had to share that. I had to share it with somebody because it's been tugging at my heart that way for about the last 2 to 3 months. So you're the first ones that I'm sharing it with. Thanksgiving. Thanking the Lord for all, even the simplest, tiniest, smallest things, like my boat, my car. I can go on and on and on. And I walk around and I just see things that I just, thank you, Lord, for this, where I live. But I needed to share that with you. Hey, from all of us here at The Edge, you have a good, safe fishing season. See you on the water.